Hello everyone, this is Alonzo. Want to know how to get your first cloud job? Then please register for our webinar. We'll teach you everything that you need to know and answer your questions along the way. Hope to see you there. Hello everyone, this is Alonzo. Want to know how to get your first cloud job? Then please register for our webinar. We'll teach you everything that you need to know and answer your questions along the way. Hope to see you there.
My name is Richard Ferrer, and I can say I am cloud hired.
That yes, come and join and get cloud hired. I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
Hey, Go Cloud Architect family, I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired, guys.
So I'll just say I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired thanks to Go Cloud Architects.
It worked for me, and now I'm cloud hired.
Because of Google Architect program,
I am cloud hired. See!
I am cloud hired. Thank you, Mike and the Glowcloud team.
Everybody, welcome to another Cloud Computing Career Q&A session from us here at Go Cloud Careers. We come on YouTube every week to answer your questions about anything cloud computing career, cloud architect career, cloud architect job, anything cloud architect or cloud computing related. Whether you're wondering about the cloud engineer versus the cloud architect, about cloud computing career training, how to become a cloud architect, how to start your cloud computing career, or you want to know about AWS cloud computing or Azure cloud computing or what is cloud computing, we're here to answer any and all of your questions. So the team here on this call has over 50 years of leadership experience, and we are here to help you, and we want to help you build your best technology career. So of course, we've got Mike, our founder and CEO. He has been in tech for over 25 years and has held elite architect positions for 2 decades as a network architect, an enterprise architect, a cloud architect, and a business architect. And then, of course, we've got Alonzo, our chief marketing officer, an expert on marketing, branding, strategy, and leadership. He has 30 years of marketing experience with major global organizations and has led major cloud projects through his career. He helps our students build elite brands that make the world come to them. And then there's me. I have nearly 15 years of HR and corporate leadership experience, and I'm the chief operating officer here at Go Cloud Careers. So as I said, we're all here to help you. We all hold MBAs, and we have the skills from extensive careers to help you not only get hired, but put you on your path to long-term career success. So we are going to take your questions and provide you answers today. But first of all, I want to remind you that Mike has helped so many people build such elite careers and has built such a reputation that it costs $1,200 per hour to speak with him on a private consult. And that list is several months long to speak to him in a private consult. So we're here for you today for free, live, like we are most Mondays, to answer your questions about your cloud computing career. So don't hesitate. Don't miss this opportunity. We're only here for a little period of time. We'll be here for about an hour. So make sure to take advantage of this and ask us your questions. So Mike, Alonzo, anything you want to say before we get rolling?
I think I'll kick it off with Happy Monday, everybody, and today's the best day to start the career of your dreams. Just last week, in the middle of tech layoffs, Microsoft still invested $10 billion in technology, and who designs these technology solutions? Architects. And just last week, guess what? 2 of our students got hired with 0 experience. One got hired as a senior solutions architect, first tech job ever, and another one got hired as an enterprise architect. Again, first tech job ever. So these are serious jobs. Our students aren't starting at the associate level or the beginner level. We're talking about senior solutions architect as the first tech job. And it's because of the things we do, the way we train. We train others in a manner that others won't. So tomorrow our students that can do what others can't get hired and be awesome architects. But here's the thing, all of you, every last one of you can be whatever you desire. You want to be an airplane pilot? Go to flight school and go do it. You want to be an Olympic athlete? If you're young enough, find the right coaches and train, and hopefully you've got the genetics to do it. You want to be a cloud architect? We can help you. And we love helping people. I've helped people get their first tech job for over 2 decades now. And people that have come from poverty are now in prosperity, and people call me every day to say how much it's changed their lives. So don't let anyone or anything hold you back from your dreams. You can all do anything you actually desire. All of you can do anything you desire. So never doubt yourself. Personally, don't even tell your dreams to others, because you know what? They'll be telling you all the reasons why you can't be successful, and I'm telling you, you can be successful. So just go out there, be successful, go after your dreams, and go win. Go win. Now, lots of us, I know Alonzo's fought for his dreams. I know Chris has fought for his dreams. We spent years in school. We all love what we do. Let's go to you, Alonzo, and then you, Chris.
Oh, awesome, Mike. Thank you again. I'm just really happy to be here. We really, really are engaged. We are focused on getting you your first cloud job, and we're looking forward to you giving us our questions. Please don't hesitate on your career, let alone the questions that you have for us, so that we can get you started, get you kicked off and ready to go and step into your career of choice and enjoy a very lucrative and rewarding experience. Back to you, Chris.
All right. So before we get started, I just want to make everybody aware of a few things. So every Thursday, we have our How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that'll be on Thursday. And you can register at the link in the description. And I believe a member of our team is also going to be posting that link in the chat box. So on this webinar, we'll be sharing with you all the tips and things that you need to know to become the ultimate cloud architect. We'll talk about what hiring managers want, what architects actually do, how to deal with HR and job descriptions that ask for 15 Olympic gold medals and 75 years of Kubernetes experience for a job that doesn't even deal with Kubernetes or the Olympics. So we talk about that, and we answer the age-old question of, do I need to code? No, you don't. So we talk about what you actually need to learn to become a cloud architect. And so make sure you join us there. And then, of course, you'll be able to ask us questions. We'll answer them in real time for you. You can come off mute and ask questions, all kinds of fun. So make sure you register for that Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Also want to make sure everybody's aware of our discount countdown, available for a short time while there's slots available. We have 60% off of our award-winning Cloud Architect Career Development Program. So make sure you take advantage of that. The link should be in the description, and it will be posted in the chat box over here as well. So don't hesitate on that one. There's limited availability, limited slots for that. So make sure to take advantage of that while we have you here, so that you can get that six-figure job that 2 people got last Friday. You know, that there's no reason that you can't do it. Don't delay. Every day that you delay is potentially an $800 loss of income.
At least.
So every month could be anywhere from $15,000 to $16,000 minimum that you could be losing in lost income just by waiting or trying to do it on your own and figure it out in the dark. Don't do that. We want to help you reach your goals as quickly as possible, whether it's with this discount in our program or joining our webinar and learning how to do it on your own. Do it on your own, do it with us, get there as fast as possible, but we think we can help you. So that's why we do this. All right, and then lastly, make sure you're following us on LinkedIn so that you can stay on top of everything that we're doing. Whether you're following not me, the business page, or Mike on LinkedIn, make sure you're following us so that you can stay up to date with everything. All right, let's get to some questions. Let
me talk a little bit more about following us before we address the questions. Please follow us on LinkedIn, because here's the thing. Not only do we post information about how to become a great architect, but when you're truly an architect after a couple of decades, the world's going to come to you and ask for your opinions. So last week, Forbes asked me for my opinion on what was going on. I was on national TV, News Nation just last night. We've got 2 media interviews later today, and I post that kind of information for you. You know, we were in over 70 magazine articles last year, people saying, how do you build architect careers? So we'll share those media with you, as well as our own content, because I want you all getting hired. I want you to just know that the best things in the world are open to you if you just have the right path, the right training, and the right guidance. So follow us on LinkedIn so we can help you.
All right. So our first question comes from Rock and Rolla. It says, hey guys, if I'm brand new to this field without any previous tech experience, should I get a certification or is it unnecessary?
Well, Rock and Roll, let me take this. The first thing that you should do is learn the job. And here's the reason why. You can completely get hired with 0 certifications, but the certifications themselves are not enough to get you hired. So here's what I like to view the certifications as. The icing on the cake. Without the cake, there's no value, but with the cake, they're great. See, the certification would make you look more attractive to the employer on paper, which means they're more likely to bring you in for an interview. Good, good, good. But, you know, what happens is we hiring managers, if we just interview people based on certifications, we'll interview 1,000 people and not find someone that's hireable. And I can tell you that from experience. So what hiring managers say is, please don't ever send me somebody with paper certifications, meaning they've got several of them but no background. So the key is the following. Get the right skills for your job, find out exactly what they are. And then when you're truly competent, then go to the certification exam. The certification exam will be much easier and you may get hired without it anyway, in which case, if that's so, the employers will put you through a $5,000 or $10,000 certification boot camp where they'll send you live. You'll have real instructors. It's not going to be the kind of thing you'd find on Udemy, for example. You'll get real people that actually understand the content, and they'll pay for your certification. So, you don't need certifications to get hired, but they do round out your experience. Now, when you get certifications, we like to see one cloud, one industry. Do not ever get multiple associate certifications, because each associate certification to the hiring manager looks like almost sort of ready to get into something. So when people get multiple ones, it makes them look like they're completely unfocused and almost sort of ready to get into something. So learn the job, become wildly competent, and then, yes, they'll get 1 to 2 professional certifications, one from industry and one from cloud. For example, for security people, I like the CISSP because that's security. The AWS Advanced Security is nothing. It's a waste of your time. And the reason it's a waste of your time is it only shows you a fraction of the security environment with proprietary solutions which are not real life. But the CISSP is real. The Certified Solution Architect is so professional, makes it look like you've got an inkling of knowledge in the cloud computing. You combine that with real knowledge, not only will you get the interview, but you'll get hired.
Yeah, just to round out what Mike was saying there, the certifications are part of the entire package for you as a candidate. So if you don't have the knowledge that the certifications are supposed to imply, then even if you get the interview, it's not going to go well. So they kind of, in a way, they complement each other in a way, especially for people that may not have anything else to show except their skills and their competency. If they don't have the experience and all they have is the skills and the competency, which is what they need to get that opportunity to show their skills and competency. So that's where certifications can be helpful, is to get you that opportunity to show, hey, I've got the skills and competency. I may not have the 5 years of experience that your arbitrary job description says, but hey, I got a certification. Give me the chance to show you that I know what I'm talking about here. Let me show you that I'm better than these 1,000 other people that have the same certification but don't actually know anything. So you need, like Mike said, you need the certification and you need the actual knowledge and the actual competency to do the job. So, yeah, I like that question. That was a good one. Alonzo, any thoughts there?
Yeah, just to echo what everyone is saying, you consider yourself when you get a Christmas or holiday gift or a birthday gift and it's wrapped, it's beautiful. However, you see this huge bow on top, okay? Always remember that you yourself, you're the gift. Exactly. However, the certifications is the bow. It's attractive, but without the gift itself, you showcasing your competency, CXO relevancy, all the things and more that they're looking for, the bow is just a bow. So understand that it's wonderful to have, but it's ultimately you, the gift, that provides the value.
Whoa,
Exactly.
I love that. I need the key. I need to typeset that.
Love that, Alonzo, too. And just remember, the reason it has to be last is you have to have the substance. And people like Delroy Bad, our student, who never worked in tech, got hired with 0 certification, because you can still get hired with none. Now, the certifications, again, they make you look so much more attractive and do them, obviously, but make sure you get the gift right first.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely, we're going to take that gift and bow analogy and we're going to run with that one. I like it. Let's see, Bob Welch is in the house. Hey, Bob.
Bob, it's always good to see you.
All right.
Bob's a fantastic cloud security architect. We know very well.
Bob Welch is one of our graduates, I guess, if you will, from our program who got a job last summer, early fall. Glad he was able to pop in.
Thrilled, always.
So Bliss says, Mike, thank you for your vast knowledge and what you're giving out for free.
We are so happy to help Bliss.
Does cloud security architect code? And what is the role of cloud security architect in ChatGPT?
Bliss, no architect codes, ever. The thing of an architect is we design, present, and sell a technology. If it's got the word architect, you don't touch the tech. Now, you can touch the tech if you want to, but if you touch the tech if you want to, Bliss, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be severely limiting to your career. So I'm going to show you why you focus, for example, on business acumen, sales skills, executive presence, communication skills, leadership skills, and business, not the tech. So Bliss, I was a principal architect within 2 years of the time I started. That's not typical, but we can easily get somebody there within 5 years if they train properly. Now, someone that's hands-on focused on the tech, their salary tops out about 150 to 200 per year. Someone that's focused on business, like a principal architect at Microsoft that has a $508,000 salary on average, that's someone who focuses on the business, not coding. Now, again, we've got someone that focuses on the business, a principal architect at Amazon that earns $372 a year. Now, Microsoft, again, is another one where they pay $380 per year for the average principal architect, and Oracle pays the least, and they only pay $296, but still, we're talking about a lot of money. So the key of an architecture career is you have two choices. Focus on the tech or focus on the digital transformation. If you want any kind of a career, don't focus on the tech. Now, what does a cloud security architect do? They design, present, and sell a security solution. So where a cloud architect like me, especially on the enterprise side, focuses on the entire transformation, the cloud security architect focuses only on the security. How do I protect this organization? What should the security policy look like? What kind of training is necessary for the people? Do they need anti-malware training, anti-social engineering training, for example? What does the firewall architecture look like? What's the second set of firewall architecture look like? What does the demilitarized zone architecture look like? What's the data loss prevention strategy like? What's the encryption strategy like? What type of identity and access management is going to be the overarching thing for the organization? Does the organization need zero trust? So design the security blueprint. Now, the reality is ChatGPT is really something that's going to take away many of the engineering and admin jobs, because ChatGPT can code, ChatGPT can configure and do all that stuff. But the security aspect, what makes an architect so special, which is why it's not vulnerable to artificial intelligence, is the following. The ability for me to go ask Alonzo, for example, as an executive, tell me about your business pain points, your business goals and challenges. Then for Alonzo to say, work with my COO, work with my CFO, and learn more about these things. Then for Alonzo to say, go interview my department heads and find out their pain points. And also, while you're at it, go talk to my frontline workers. And then Bliss, come bring in a team of 30 cloud engineers to baseline the current systems, go back and make a recommendation. That's what we do as architects. So ChatGPT can help the architect respond to requests for information, requests for proposals, requests for queries. ChatGPT can help the architect write up some of their documentation, for example, and ease the burden on them. And ChatGPT can even help the architect do some research. So ChatGPT for the architect is a tool just like Google would be a tool. Now, if you're a cloud admin, forget it. There's no future, because ChatGPT can do everything that a cloud admin can at about 50 to 100 times the speed. Now, same thing for a cloud engineer. ChatGPT, which architects don't code, don't configure on anything, but for the cloud engineers, Python scripts, ChatGPT can do it. Windows PowerShell scripts, ChatGPT can do it. How about a Terraform script or a CloudFormation script? ChatGPT can do that. So Bliss, that's actually one of the reasons why we don't recommend engineering careers right now, and that's why organizations are reducing their staffing of engineers and still hiring architects, because architects don't get replaced by technology, because it's the human side of what we do. Lead teams, do sales, deliver presentations, connect with others, do psychotherapy on the engineers that are tired and burned out from working 16 hours a day doing deployments, building relationships, repairing things. So for us, ChatGPT is nothing other than helping us write. It's a new advanced form of Google. For the engineers and admins, it's a totally different situation.
All right, so let's see. All right, so here's a good question. Juan David Ortiz says, hi, Mike. How did you find the time to do yoga, martial arts, and become a cloud expert? I hardly have time available, so I had to stop my archery hobby while studying and working.
It's a great question, Juan, and here's what I will tell you. There's always enough time if you've got sufficient focus. So here's what I used to do. I can't do martial arts these days because of an injury. Yoga, I have no choice because if I don't do yoga, I literally can't walk up and down the stairs. So here's the way I used to live my life. When I worked at Cisco as an enterprise architect, I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And from 6 to 8:30 in the morning, I would take calls that were mostly in Europe. Then what I would do is I would do 2 hours of martial arts. And then from there, what I would do is I would work out again. I would go back to work, and I would work until approximately 7 o'clock at night. And at night, I would typically do 1 hour of strength and conditioning and 1 hour yoga. It would be 10 o'clock, and I'd go straight to bed. And, I'd take my wife to dinner somewhere along the line. We'd speak to each other for an hour per day, but, that was it. I don't watch TV. I don't watch YouTube videos or funny cat videos as much as I love cats. So my life is either function, focus, or family. And that's realistically all I do it. So you'd be surprised at things that you can possibly do. But a lot of people spend a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram doing, I don't know. And lots of people watch a lot of TV. Lots of people spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos. My wife has the luxury of time, and she watches a lot of cat videos and gymnastics videos. Then again, she travels 120 miles to do gymnastics because it's a passion of her life, and she has the time to do it. And I'm thrilled that she's able to. When she's not practicing medicine, she's mostly doing gymnastics, or showing me videos of cats because she loves them so much, just like I do. So you definitely have the time. But when you were studying, Juan, that's another story. So when I actually was studying for my Cisco Certified Internet Expert, which was about 75,000 pages of reading to do that, it was the first time in my life I got out of shape. I literally speaking did not work out for about 6 months. It was the first time that I was like, oh my God, what's happened to me? So sometimes you got to do things too, and when you've got to focus, and it's okay. Because the good news is it all comes back to you. But do try to stay healthy, and even if you can't, make sure you eat right, because at least this way you do less damage to your body when you can't exercise or do your hobby for the long period of time. And I also make sure your doctors say you're safe and healthy. But that's what I did.
I think an important thing to remember here also is that, no offense to Mike, but Mike didn't become an expert immediately.
No.
So you need to, Mike mentioned time, and you mentioned time, Juan. Time is not just a daily thing. Time is a long form thing as well. You need to allow yourself the time to become an expert. The officially technically accepted definition of an expert is somebody that does 10,000 hours towards something. That's the accepted metric. 10,000 hours on 40 hours a week is just under 5 years. Exactly. 30 hours a week is 2,080 hours a year. So just under 5 years of 40 hours a week gives you an expert. So you have to give yourself the time to become an expert, not just on a daily basis or a weekly basis, but on the long form basis as well. Because it's not realistic to expect yourself to become an expert in 6 months.
Exactly. And just because someone I took the CCIA exam, just because that was called expert, Juan, that's no expert. That to me was the intro to my networking career. That was when I built my solid foundations. And then I spent, literally speaking, 5 years doing nothing other than BGP. Just one thing. After 5 years, then I was a BGP expert. But that was like 5% of networking. So that's the thing. It takes a lot of time to be an expert. Don't rush it. I have 25 years in this industry. And I worked with the first clouds, which were in 1996. So I've got lots of experience with it, but that's because it's been since 1996, which I'm almost embarrassed to say these days. I even had a lot of hair when I actually started in this industry.
I'm going to put this one up from Samara. Might need a little help. So they say, oh, that's a cute picture.
Oh, cheeks, man.
I'm not sure if that's your young one or relatives or friends, but that's a cute picture.
Sure is.
So what skill or mindset that make vendor irrelevant and make cloud skills forefront within me?
Okay. So Samara, great question. So here's what you need to understand. Strip away all the marketing nonsense and these ridiculous names that these companies have spent millions of dollars to come up with, And all you have is a network and a data center. That's it. If you go to any bank or any cloud provider and you look at their data centers, they're identical. Same hardware, same firewalls, same physical load balancers, same switches, same routers. They're all basically the same. So what happens is you take that hardware and you add a thin layer of cloud software, and now you're selling virtual network services. So kind of think of it as you have your house, right? And instead, if you went to a hotel or an apartment complex, they basically have a building where they rent you out space. That's all the cloud is. So when you understand all the tech that makes the cloud, servers, virtual servers, containers, container orchestration, routers, switches, firewalls, load balancers, VPN concentrators. And then you start to understand the software that's used in any data center, such as a database, whether it be a relational database or a NoSQL database. And you understand the storage area networks, which have been in every data center now for about 30 years, such as block storage, object storage, and file storage. You know all clouds. And at that point, it doesn't matter what name. It's no different than I love to eat eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. So, when my wife goes to get eggs, she says, if Publix doesn't have them, I'm like, go to Aldi's, go to Sam's Club, go to Costco. Who cares? I just want eggs. And that's really the same thing that we're dealing with. When a virtual machine, if you truly know what a virtual machine is, then you can just look up the name. So at the Azure store, they call it a virtual machine. At the Oracle store, they call it a virtual machine. The Google store, well, they paid some serious marketing dollars to come up with the term compute engine instance. And AWS, well, they must have spent $10 million making up the name Elastic Compute Cloud. But it's the same thing. So if you really focus on what is it that you're actually dealing with, it's no different than if you figured out, how do I drive a car? This thing is a steering wheel. Now, the reason, I don't love certifications is the name of a service, right? So when you take the AWS course, they teach you that, hey, this is the elastic rotational device. And then you take the Google course and they call this a cloud-based vehicular angular changer. And then you take the Microsoft course and they call it an Azure-based steering wheel. But if you learn 3 different names and you don't know that they're all the same steering wheel, that's where the problem. So learn the underlying tech. And then it doesn't matter where you're at. You can look at a cheat sheet. In fact, Google is really nice. They make a really great cheat sheet and they compare all the services for all the major clouds for you. It's brilliant. Just need to know what you need to design.
All right, let's see. Rena says, hi, Mike. I'm so excited to be enrolled in the program finally after putting it off. Well, we're glad you're here now. I'm ready to be cloud hired. My question is, are there any vouchers available for the certs?
That's a good question, Rena. So first, I know lots of people that have gotten hired with 0 certifications. So focus on the skills first. Secondly, some of the vendors actually provide free certification training. I know Oracle did for a long period of time. I think they still do. Often Microsoft offers it for free as well. So if money is tight, just take one of the free ones. Now, Rena, I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't let cost get in the way of your career. And here's what I mean. When I first started my networking career, I didn't have a lot of money for anything, but I still took $40,000 of loans to take my networking certification training. Now, within the first 2 years of my networking career, I was earning $200,000 a year, and that was 20-something years ago, which is the equivalent of $330,000 a year. Now, I'll tell you, it was $100,000 plus raise over what I was more than that, over what I was previously earning. So, taking a loan for that was well worth it on my end. But the reality is, focus on getting the things that matter most, which is getting the knowledge. Find one of the vendors that offer you cheap free certification, because guess what? Any of them are really going to show that you know what you're doing. It's just icing on the cake. It's that really nice bow that Alonzo was talking about. But that's all what I would really do. I focus on the substance first. And then when it really comes down to it, I also encourage you to look at this. When you really need to cut. And when I started out, I had to cut everything. I cut my cable bill. I cut going out to dinner. I even cut renting movies at Blockbuster Video because, we needed to do anything we needed to pay for my initial training and education. So if there's a way to save, save.
All right. So, comment from Bob Welch, who's a working cloud security architect. Says, hi, everyone. I'm having a blast. I don't touch code. He's currently in a sales class, and his next up is a CISSP boot camp. All paid for by his employer.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So no touching code. Nice.
Nope.
Daniel says, what advice do you have for newcomers who are getting anxious, discouraged about starting because of news of tech layoffs?
Daniel.
Don't get discouraged.
No.
I'm going to share my 2 cents, and I want to hear Alonzo's, and I want Mike to close it out with his, if that's okay with everybody. Because I know Mike's going to drop some gold, and I want to get my chance for some silver in there before he drops some gold. Layoffs are a part of the cycle. There's always layoffs. There's always cycles. There's always a cycle, and this is just part of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
People that get laid off, usually, if they're good employees, good workers, good hard workers, they're usually able to find a position pretty quickly. Just because people are being laid off doesn't mean that people aren't hiring. Nope. Because the people that are being laid off are most likely in different areas than the departments or the roles that you're trying to get hired in. Daniel, you're trying to become a cloud architect. I saw there was an article from Business Insider from the former head of HR at Microsoft, and the number one people that he said were safe during layoffs are revenue generating positions, which is exactly what we say. And that's a former HR at Microsoft. So cloud architects and even sales engineers to a degree and are revenue generating roles. So these are the roles that while layoffs are happening, the same company is going to be hiring people to generate revenue. So don't get anxious or discouraged. Inevitable after every cycle of layoffs comes growth. Yep. So just like inevitably after a recession comes massive growth. Every time, almost every time there's a recession, there's massive growth because there's only one way out, and that's up. So that's my 2 cents on there. Don't let yourself get discouraged just because you're seeing the top line, which is the layoffs. Look at the bigger picture, the bigger impact, and extrapolate it a little bit. There's a reason that Microsoft invested $10 billion in a certain technology in the same week that they said that they were going to lay off 10,000 people. Connect those dots.
Yes.
What roles are going to be impacted by that 10,000? The same roles that are going to be impacted by that 10 billion. So that's my 2 cents. Alonzo and then Mike, I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Daniel, just be prepared. This is what we do. This is what we're made for. Whether the recession is at its peak or it's questionable, we are here to help. And, just consider a sinking ship, if you will. People are going to worry about it sinking, or people are going to spend the time preparing to get off the ship to stay afloat. We focus on staying afloat, not only staying afloat, but thriving. So I know, anything that you do that's new it's full of uncertainty. It's full of a lot of things that you might not be comfortable with, but it's the discomfort that is where the growth is. Okay. Knowing how to prepare, knowing what you need to do to insulate yourself from such things is first of all, being confident in yourself. Okay. But we want to ensure that you have what it takes. Anyone can do this. You just need focus, dedication, tenacity, and discipline, and understanding these concepts and everything that goes with it, and being able to tell a story about how cloud is going to transform a business and how it's going to be a benefit to the company. Draw them in, whether it's the CEO, chief technical or information officer, or a distinguished engineer. You're going to learn how to pivot and adjust to the room so that you can draw them in and show them A, how good you are, B, how good your the company that you're representing is and how you all are going to be able to provide those solutions. So to your point, Daniel, you can do this. Believe in yourself. Everyone here had their doubts. They have their doubts about whether they can do it. They have their doubts about imposter syndromes. We're able to deflect that and be able to build you up into a confident professional so that you know what you're doing and how you can get it done. So don't worry about it.
And both of them are right. And I'm going to give you some real information, Daniel. Don't worry about it at all. So if you recall, if you go to our YouTube channel about 6 months ago, we started giving guidance on how not to get laid off. We started to say, look, the economy's going in a certain direction, and here's the people that are going to be laid off. Here's how you don't get laid off. Now, Forbes last week published an article that I had contributed to on how not to get laid off. And many other tech publications have also published the same materials on there. So first, here's who gets laid off. And well, first I'm going to start with the statistics, and then I'm going to give you the harsh reality, which is why you should feel great, Daniel. Anybody that doesn't generate revenue is the first to get cut in a recession. So anybody that brings in money, woohoo! And anybody that costs money gets, some of them get laid off, and I'll tell you which people get laid off, which I hate to say, but it's reality. And then the people that are stuck actually do twice as much work until it's over. Because with no revenue, no money, companies go bankrupt. With half of your back-end workers, like your HR, they get let go. Your marketing people get let go. Your back-end engineers, your coders, they're the ones that are the least essential, they're all gone. So there is that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we had also given advice that said, hey, when you go to meetings, volunteer in meetings, turn on your Zoom camera, volunteer for the biggest high-profile things. There's a reason for that. You know who doesn't get cut as a rule? The people that hiring managers love the most. And when people were out there 6 months ago, a year ago, and we advised them against it, going to TikTok saying, my employer stinks, I'm not working. And we said, all those people are going to be laid off. Wait till you see, a lot more of them are going to be laid off, and it hasn't even started yet. And all those people that shut off their cameras because they didn't want their company to know what was going on, they're gone too. It just hasn't happened yet. Anybody that said that basically told their employers, I'm more focused on having fun than caring about the business, they're all gone. And the reason they're gone is the companies want the following, Daniel, and you're one of the following. They want competent people that they can trust, that are energetic, enthusiastic, and passionate about the work, passionate about the company, those who can communicate well, those who are willing to go above and beyond, and the reality is those that are great team players. Now, Daniel, this is where I feel really sad, and I hate to talk about this, but this is the harsh reality. All the tech leaders, myself and every other major leader, has gone through the Jack Welch School of Management in some way, shape, or form. So Jack Welch was the CEO of GE, and he wrote a book called From the Gut. He ran a management institute, and he trained every leader that you can possibly think of throughout the world. And we're all influenced by Jack Welch. And Jack Welch basically said, train your A players, treasure your A players, and make them the best. He said, keep your B players and get rid of your C players. In fact, he created a rule, and the tech companies all used to follow this. He said, get rid of your bottom 10% every single year. He said, and if you don't do it, here's what happens. Your A players get bogged down and look at the C players who complain about things, don't do the job, and they say, why should I work so hard when somebody else isn't? Your A players leave. So it was recommended that everybody get rid of the bottom 10% every year. Now look at Microsoft. They just got rid of 5%. And they haven't gotten rid of 5%. So as a rule, you think they got rid of their top 10% or their great people? Not usually. They typically, in AWS, on one of their press releases, talked about getting rid of low performers. So typically, it's the bottom 10% that go. So there's two sets of people that go. Sometimes you lose really great people, like, for example, with COVID. Entire divisions of really great people were let go. If you were in the airplane industry, the hospitality industry, the food industry, and you were great, you were still let go because those businesses completely shut down. But what you're seeing in tech is two things going on. One is the companies overhired, and they're now cleaning the herd of the people that are not the best they have. And they too can be rehired. If they're great, they can be rehired. Now, Daniel, I've been in tech for 25 years now. I've been through 20 layoffs and I never got laid off. And Daniel, of my clients, only one got laid off, and he had a $300,000 job within 1 week, and he had a six-figure severance package. Why? Because they were great, and they knew the skills not to get laid off. So Daniel, yes, it is scary, but if you know the reality of what's going on, you know it's not scary at all. Now, here's the other thing. Microsoft just invested $10 billion in ChatGPT, at the same time laid off some people. Here's why. All those cloud admins, we don't need them anymore. ChatGPT can do it better, faster, and cheaper. Guess what? We can get rid of half of the programmers we have right now, and here's the reason why. ChatGPT can code. Now, what you'll see left is going to be as following. You're going to see some superstar players in the programming space that can communicate with others. They've got good leadership skills, good team building skills, good relationship abilities. And they're going to basically lead a team of medium programmers. They're going to all be using ChatGPT, and they can do 10 times the work output, 20 times the work output. So companies are still investing in tech. They're all spending a lot of money in tech. And as these companies are laying off, they're still hiring. We got 2 people cloud architect jobs last week. One was an enterprise architect, and it's the first tech job. And the other was a senior solutions architect job at a major player, while the layoffs are even occurring. So find yourself something in revenue like a cloud architect. Don't do a position like cloud engineering. In fact, we love cloud engineers, love them. But we stopped running our cloud engineering program and taking on new people for the following reason. We wanted to make sure our students had a competitive advantage, and we saw the career in it being challenging moving forward, and we only wanted to focus on architectures and interviews to get all these people rehired because we knew it was coming.
All right, so let's see, next question. I know with the AWS Solution Architect Associate certification, what kind of first job can I get with that, providing I also have the knowledge? Well, if you actually have the knowledge for the role, then you should be able to get an architect job.
Yeah, let's assume you have the knowledge. You could get a cloud architect or solution architect job. But
if you have the actual knowledge.
The actual knowledge. And
not the AWS, not the certification knowledge.
Right.
But so also, what's your goal? We're not sure what your goal is. So if your goal is to become a cloud architect or solution architect, if you have the knowledge of the architect role, not just the certification knowledge, then you should be able to get an architect role. But that's assuming that that's your desired role. If you want to let us know what your desired role is in the chat box, we could probably answer it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bob says, Mike, this will make you smile. I'm currently working on a 19,000 node DLP project. We worked hard on this in class and has made me very valuable to our client and field sales manager.
Yes.
Love that, Robert. So Robert's talking about data loss prevention. Robert is an amazing cloud security architect. Oh, by the way, I think he has a cloud practitioner. Robert, if that's true, you can let us know. But he's got a fantastic job. But the key is Rob is really awesome. And, we do real life projects in class, like 19,000 node data loss preventions or 20,000 remote office locations or major banks, or how would you start a social media provider? Yeah. Really big things. And the reason we do this is I got to work on things in my career that nobody else had ever done before. And guess what? That's how you learn. You have to learn by breaking a giant problem down into multiple little steps and then finding out all the right people who can do it. What if I told you all a really secret? The architecture that actually built my career was something where I knew absolutely nothing about the tech. That's right, absolutely nothing. So I'd been a BGP guy and a multicast guy, and basically I was told by my employer, Mike, you need to build the most innovative voice over IP system in the entire world for one of the world's largest banks. And I said, I don't know anything about voice, right? And they said, Mike, you're an architect. Why did I put you on this project? I'm like, I don't know. And they said, you've got the best leadership skills, best communication abilities, and the best team building skills. So go build yourself a team. Find yourself the best people in the entire world, build your team, and I expect you to close this. Oh, by the way, it's worth this to us in terms of a press release and this to us in terms of the deal. And I went, okay. Now, not only did I close that deal brought me on stage with the CEO of one of the world's largest tech companies in the world. I received about 15 awards for it and became famous for it inside of the tech world. And it was something I didn't even know, because that's the key. What you need to know is how to take the problem and break it down into smaller problems and how to build the right team. And with the right team, you can do anything. As they say in Africa, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm all about going together.
All right. So, Last Raven says, if I want to dress for the job I want, what kinds of suits would you dapper looking men suggest?
Well, Last Raven, I will give
this.
you something from hands from background experience. I hate to say it. First, don't buy anything you can't afford. That's the most important thing.
Correct.
Don't buy anything you can't afford. Now, I will tell you, in one of my jobs, I had a manager who said, Mike, you just don't have enough executive presence. And I went to executive coaching, executive presence school, and he just, it was a long time ago, decades ago, but he kept saying it to me. And then one day I lost my luggage. And I'd stopped in a Nordstrom, and the only thing that fit me off the rack was a Canali suit. And I looked at the price and said, this is crazy. My wife was with me. She says, you don't want to get fired. This is your biggest job you've ever had. I said, okay. So I buy the suit. I buy the shoes. I buy this overpriced towel and belt. My wife's like, I've never seen you so good. Well, anyway, I go give a speech, right, Last Raven? My manager says, oh, my God, you were incredible. It's the same speech I gave yesterday. Whatever. Next day, my luggage shows up. I put my old suit back on, and my manager says to me, Mike, guess what? You weren't so good. I did present to Harvard a week later. I bought the nice suit again, and my manager says, you know what? I'm going to give you a promotion. So I bought 3 more of those suits. So the key is it has to fit you good. It has to be pressed. Personally, I've had my best luck with Canali and Armani. I like Canali because it's the best I can find at the lowest price that still looks good. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that it fits you, that it's clean, that it's pressed. This fits my body structure great. Hugo Boss was much cheaper and can fit somebody else's great. And you know what? The reality is you have to borrow a good suit from your friend to get a job. That's fine too. Just be clean, pressed, not wrinkly, because those are the things that really make sure your shoes are polished, your belt's polished. That matters more than all of it.
Absolutely. A lot of people, they spend a lot of time when it comes to the presence of a man, a male. They focus on 2 things: your timepiece and your feet.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that time is money, and that's representative of that, and the feet are representative of your willingness to do the work. So understand, like Mike had said, it's like, don't break the bank, but make sure you find something that fits your body type, something that's traditional over trendy, something that exudes accomplishment and the ability to get the work done. And once you brand yourself in that fashion, people will look at you and take you seriously. Now, understand, like, say, for instance, if you go into some sort of cloud position and you never get a second chance to make a first impression, they may give you a nice pass on that first run, but understand that they're looking at you and they see who you came in with on the first try. And that's something that will stick with them. So always go into a situation, whether it's the interview or your first day on the job, go in there looking like the person you want to be, not the person that you are. Dress for that next level, dress for that next promotion, that next level that you want to. They'll start looking at you in a whole new light.
And while we're at it, before we get to Chris, one more thing. Practice wearing the suit, whatever it is. And I don't care if it's a $200 suit or a $2,000 suit, practice wearing it. Because when you're not used to wearing a suit, you look like a fish out of water. You just look uncomfortable in it. So practice in it. But here's the reality. Communications, the study from the data from Harvard says 55% is what you look like when you say something, 38% is what you sound like, and 7% is your actual content. So do the best you can within your budget, but no wrinkles. Really press that stuff down. Make sure your shoes are signed, because it shows that you're willing to pay attention to the details. And in architecture, you need to pay attention to the details. And it shows that either you're willing to pay somebody the couple of dollars to do it, or you're willing to do the work yourself. And guess what? If you don't have money, I've polished my shoes plenty of times in my career, and I'm totally happy to do it, and I still do it half the time. So, kind of keep that in the back of your mind. And then we'll go to Chris.
I don't really have too much to add to that. I mean, I think the key things are, Mike started off, don't buy anything you can't afford.
No.
And I mean, you make the suit as much as the suit makes you. So
yes.
I mean, I've seen people that have gone to local organizations and gotten suits. There's some local organizations that have so many suits in stock that they will fit you there in their in their office or their and it's not a donation of a suit, it's a temporary loan of a suit.
Great.
But they find one that works best for you, and you utilize that and give back. So I mean, there's all kinds of things out there. I mean, at the very, we're talking about it here in America. You got J.C. Penney's, you got Dillard's, you have these stores that have nice, good suits that are at reasonable prices. So, but it's you, Mike, hit the nail on the head also with the making sure that you're comfortable in the suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no one size fits all. No pun intended. There's no one size fits all answer about where to get the best suit. Now, now, if we're talking about after you've got the $300,000 a year job and you've started working in the job, then we'll come back with a different answer about that. Probably. But yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. All right. Okay. Varun says, how many certs, AWS, Azure, GCP, along with security, should one have under the belt before getting job ready?
Okay, I'm going to say this and make this very clear. Varun.
They may not have been here earlier. So
Varun, you can have 0 certifications and be job ready. Now, Varun, I'm also going to tell you this. The certifications is the bow on the pretty present, the icing on the cake. Now, Varun, if I see more than 2 or 3 certifications, I'm going to throw the resume in the trash. And the reason I'm going to throw the resume in the trash is as follows. I know this person is not committed to learning deep. They just want to get a little of this, a little of this, a little of this. They're a jack of all trades and a master of none. So 1 certification from the cloud at professional level 1 and 1 from industry. Now, there's nothing wrong with certifications. The certification is like the icing on the cake, and it helps your package. But, meaning it may help you get an interview, but nobody's going to hire you with any of the knowledge contained in a certification. So don't get more than 2. Make sure they're both professional level, and then focus all of your time on learning how to be great, truly the best, and that's what's going to be there. So imagine if you had an Olympian. Let's take Usain Bolt. So the 3 people that I'm most infatuated with in athletics are Usain Bolt because of his speed, Simone Biles because of not only the hardship she went through, but just her incredible gymnastics ability, and Michael Phelps. Now imagine if Michael Phelps decided to be a long distance runner and be a hobbyist weightlifter instead of being a swimmer. He wouldn't be an Olympian. And imagine if Simone Biles decided that she was going to take up a different sport like soccer or football. She wouldn't be an Olympian either. Same thing for Usain Bolt. If he took up marathon running, it would slow him down because it's a different sport. So my suggestion is this, is to attend our How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar on Thursday. You can come off camera and you can turn it on. But I'm telling you right now, you can get hired with 0 certifications and be job ready. But certifications will never make you job ready. So learn the skills for the job. And then once you're ready for the job, do 1 or 2 certifications. And here's the thing, Varun. The cert should be the last thing because you can get hired without them. Many of our people, for example, you just saw Robert Welch. He has an incredible cloud security architect job. And right now he's in an employer-paid boot camp to do the CISSP. He only had 1 cloud cert when he got there, and it was a cloud practitioner. Delroy Batt has 0 certifications and he got hired. And he's got a great job. And he turned down 3 other jobs because I saw the offers. And they were great. But that's the key. You got to have the skills first. And the certification is the name of a service and how to configure that service. Guess what? If you're an architect, we don't configure anything. And we can't use those names of the service with our customers either. So it's wrapping, it's packaging. Make sure you got the right product, which is you. And then after that, then get the certification as packaging. But if you get hired before the certification, guess what? They'll send you to a $5,000 or $10,000 quality certification boot camp for the week. And they'll really teach you the certification the real way. Not the kind of things where it's somebody on Udemy that's never worked in the job that's trying to teach you something they don't know. And how do I know this? Because now 2 AWS instructors have now reached out to me that are asking me to teach them cloud, and they've got courses that are out there.
All right. Varun says, I never pronounced the name correctly. The CEO of Microsoft hinted next big thing is open AI platform on Azure. Mike, what's your thoughts on it? Before Mike answers, I don't think he really needed to hint at that.
Yep.
I think $10 billion kind of hinted at that. But
Yeah.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
AI is everything. AI is going to mean a boom for architects because focusing on AI is not a career. I mean, the way we earn money in tech is by focusing on what the tech can do for the business. So architects like me have been including AI and data science people into things we've done for the last 5 to 10 years. It's not new. Now, what AI will do is it'll get rid of all the cloud admins. It'll reduce the programmers by 50 to 80% because Microsoft won't need them. ChatGPT can do the work of all the low-level programmers, and then it can have a few specialist programmers. And they're going to need a lot more architects. So yeah, ChatGPT is huge. In fact, last week we actually did a video. You should see it. My team will put a link in the chat box showing how ChatGPT will get rid of all sysadmins, all cloud admins, and even a good percentage of the engineers. And why ChatGPT almost makes certifications irrelevant at this point, because we showed that ChatGPT can do everything in a certification and even better. And it even knows when the things taught in the certifications are incorrect. So yes, ChatGPT, and here's the thing, ChatGPT is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. It's currently in beta. And organizations are already using it. It's in beta. There's $10 billion additional dollars. GPU performance is going up. CPU performance is going up. Fully programmable ASICs and ASICs, which are hardware devices that can do these things better, faster, and cheaper with less power than the current technology. Oh my God, it's going huge. So ChatGPT and all the other iterations of it, Google's got their own version that's going. It's major, major, major. It's going to change the way we live, work, and play. It's going to change the way education needs to occur, and it's going to change what actually configures a job. So move yourself towards sales roles, move yourself towards architecture roles, move yourself to tech leadership roles, and try to get away from hands-on things, because ChatGPT is going to be doing it, and it's going to be doing a great job of it. That's why they did a layoff and spent $10 billion in the same day.
All right. So just to let everybody know, we're going to be wrapping up soon. We do have some matters that we need to address that have come up while we are on the call. Some requests for comments from different media publications. Normally we try to stick around a little bit longer, but at least until 3. So we're going to be sticking. We've stuck till 3 today. So we're going to keep moving along, answer a few more questions. We'll be responding to phone calls also as soon as we get off of here. We'll be chugging through the list of phone calls for those of you that have called while we're on here. So let me get to some of these remaining questions before we leave. Okay, some Bliss says, Mike, does a hiring manager ask for a certificate at the interview? If not, then why do we need the certification?
Bliss, they're never going to ask you for a certificate ever.
I like that question.
In fact, here's the only time I've ever seen anybody even check a certificate. Because the Cisco Certified Internet Expert was so hard to pass, and so many people lied about it, Cisco actually had a Hall of Fame page where you could verify a CCIE certification. Bliss, no one cares if you're certified or not certified. They will never check your certification unless it's an expert one like a CCIE. They're just, it's the last thing that matters to them. They care, can you do the job? Do you have the energy, enthusiasm, and passion for the work? Can you get along with others? Are you a great team player? Not your certification. The only people that care about your certifications truly are the certification providers themselves and other people that are talking about which certifications they got. The manager doesn't care. I've spoken to thousands of hiring managers, and they all tell me, Mike, just give me somebody that can do the job, someone that's pleasant to be around, someone that's willing to go above me on, and somebody that's not lazy, and someone that's a good team player. That's what they want. So nobody's ever going to see your certification ever. And if you're asking, why do you need the certification? The true answer is, Bliss, you don't. We've gotten plenty of people hired without it. But the certification can make your packaging look good. So as Alonzo was talking about taking a gift and wrapping it up with wrapping paper and then putting a bow on top, oh, that certification is the bow on top. It looks much prettier. So if it's prettier, it's more likely to get you an interview. But on the interview, they're never going to ask you about the certification because they want to know if you can do the job. Good question.
Alonzo,
Yes, Chris.
I'm going to let you answer the next question.
All right. What do we have here?
I'll let you read it also.
E-money gets it in. That's great, but I still want to pursue the CISSP. It's the gold standard. Maybe white guys can get by without much qualifications, but I'm black, so I need to be on point fully. E-money, I'm here. So let's eliminate the race quotient. I have plenty of people that look like me in these roles in different industries and not just tech. So you need to change your mental paradigm on what the expectations are. We also have plenty that graduated from this this program. Let's talk about Delroy Batt, Daniel Bosu, Jermaine, Jennifer, Yvonne, Coyote, different minority, melanin-infused people from different backgrounds. So you have to change how you view this. It's not about white guys. It's not about anybody. It's about, can you do the job? And can you do the job with the right mental capacity where you're able to work with people from diverse backgrounds without making preemptive assumptions? So you have to change the way you look at things. You have to change it. I mean, let's look at my personal background. I have been around people that don't look like me all my life. And I was still able to excel. I was even the only guy who looked like me in my 5th grade class. And that's been me. I was the only person who traveled in Japan and they looked like me and I excelled there. So you have to change. It's not who you are. It's not what you look like. It's who you are, what you can do. And look at Sidney Poitier. He was a great exemplary for that. So change how you look at things. Change how you perceive those. So you have to understand, and it's also for the fact that Daniel Bosu, he didn't even have a high school education, but he did the work. He went through. Other folks, they were from a mental life background. Just variations of what's required was the ability to focus on what needs to be done to get things accomplished. So E-money, change your paradigm, change your look on what you perceive things to be and how hard you think it is. It's about the work. It's about your competency, not about what you look like. And I'm here to prove that it's the truth.
Thanks, Alonzo. I thought you might like to answer that one.
Yeah,
not that I like to put.
No, we understand each other, Chris. You know, these two gentlemen, when I started off in this program, let's be frank, I was here as well as a student. I excelled in the course. I came out of here. I became cloud hired. And Mike, because of not what I looked like or what I didn't look like, he looked at me for the quality and content of who I was, the ability to get the job done, and he asked me to come back. And he gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and I'm here. So I just, when I see these questions, and I've seen them before on different platforms, we have to start changing how we view things, view people, your situation in there, and some inbred ability to have to overcome things. Let your competence speak for itself, and people will put you where you belong, not for a lack of what you look like. So I want to make sure we emphasize that, E-money, okay?
And I'm looking for the next visit from Delroy Batt, who comes and visits me constantly, who has no cloud certs. He's like a son to me.
Yeah.
All right. Clement says, I am so glad I joined the program and learning with the Go Cloud community. Thank you. We are so glad to have you.
We're glad. We're
so
glad
thrilled to have you, Clement.
Yeah. Brune, Mike, I got it. Content matters rather than appearance. I'll get enrolled in your program soon and get cloud hired. That's the way to go.
We look forward to helping you get hired.
For someone new to AWS with AWS Solution Architect Associate certificates, what's the first? We already answered that. If you have the knowledge,
Yes.
if you have the actual skills, the first role or job you should go for is the architect role. But what role and what job do you want?
Yes.
What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, you can do it. It's just a matter of knowing what it is and then putting forth a plan.
Absolutely.
So we can't come up with a solution without the answer. We need the answer to come up with the solution. What's I know that seems a little backwards. It's kind of like Jeopardy, but yeah, we need to know what your goal is. What do you want to do? Then we figure out how to get there. That's what we do every day. Can you speak about SysOps? I'm getting the cert now and already at a great company who's training me. Well, the second part of that sounds great. I don't know.
If the company's training you, great. If you want to do maintenance in your career, SysOps is great.
Yeah.
Now, we advise people, generally speaking, with architecture worlds to stay away from SysOps because it makes them look like a maintenance person. But you know what? I have friends that love SysOps. And if you want to be a systems administrator and do the maintenance and operations things like patching things, then it's fantastic. So the key is it's never about which certification is good. The only thing that SysOps will prepare you for is maintenance roles and operations roles like a NOC. Now, if you wanted to be an architect, you're going to have to remove that from your resume. In fact, when we have architects that do SysOps certification, we have to remove it. But if your employer's paying for you and they're paying for you to go there, go do it. So the key is, what do you want to do? Certifications don't drive your career.
Right. Nope.
You drive your career. And then you determine what you want to do based upon, and then you learn what you need to learn. So if you want to do like work in an operations center and do patches and add users and remove users, SysOps is great. Now, if you want to be a cloud engineer, you're going to have to get rid of that on your resume because it's going to show you more of the maintenance role than the engineering role. If you want to be an architect, you're going to have to get rid of that on your resume because they want to see architects as business professionals that design solutions to help solve customers' business problems, not maintenance roles. So the key is not the certification. The certification is just something you do that helps add, packaging to you. The key is, what would you like to do? So it's never about, I got a certification, now what can I do with it? It's about, what would I like to do? See, I've got a license and I'm used to, I started by practicing internal medicine. And I said, I like tech. So, the 7 years that I spent in school, I traded it off and went to tech school because I wanted to do tech. So the key is, it's not what you've done in your past. What you ate for dinner yesterday does not determine what you eat for dinner tomorrow. What would you like to do? That's what you should do.
All right.
Now, if he's asking what he should expect pay raise, under that, know that SysOps is the lowest paid specialty, that around $60,000 to $80,000 a year would be pretty much normal if you're in the United States. Where a cloud engineer would be around 150 and a cloud architect on average would be about 200. But again, you got to do what you love. And if you do what you love, you'll find a way to rise to the top and get paid in anything you do, just because of your passion and being great.
All right. So here's our final question. Fernando says, I'm a surgical tech for 23 years, just graduated from cloud computing architecture. I feel that I'm not ready for a cloud job. Also, what are the opportunities for healthcare environments in the cloud?
Okay, so Fernando, I got lots of experience here. If you really took cloud architecture training, which means you took network training and data center training, and you were trained in BGP and IP addressing, subnetting, and supernetting, and switching, which means VLANs, VLAN tagging, VLAN trunking. I'm going to help you because I'm an expert in the healthcare architecture world. And then from there, you were trained in DNS, DHCP, ARP, proxy ARP, and you were trained heavily in routing protocols and route summarization and route aggregation, and then virtual machines and containers and container orchestration, storage area networks, block storage, object storage, file storage. You trained in all the major databases, NoSQL, relational, as well as databases. And then you learned about the tools necessary to create data lakes. You trained in artificial intelligence to know what it can do for a business. And then from there, you trained in next generation firewalls, VPN concentrators, IDS, IPS systems. And then You learned your business acumen and your leadership skills and your sales skills and your executive presence, your emotional intelligence, how to build business cases and things like that. Then you're ready for an architect. Now, here's the good news. Healthcare architectures are huge. In fact, I was a lead architect for healthcare for all of Cisco. I combined my internal medicine background plus my previous nursing background, and there are tremendous opportunities. So here's the thing. When you have to know the business piece, because as architects, we don't touch the technology, we design, present, and sell it. So you're going to have that. But then if you actually understand the OR processes, which is a tech you probably do, and if you also understand the intake into the OR, and then after the OR, where it goes to the post-surgical follow-up, and then typically a surgical ICU post behind, now you're starting to know a little bit more of the hospital. Now, if you also know the intake into the hospital and how those processes occur, and how the history and physical and pre-op clearances are done, whether in the hospital or outside, now you're starting to know bigger pieces of the healthcare delivery system. And healthcare organizations need people that understand this. Because as a healthcare architect, you need to understand all of the electronic health records and which ones can do different things for the company. And you can also understand the workflows that are there in healthcare. And then from there, you can design the technology as well as the people and processes to do architecture. Now, Fernando, I'm an expert in healthcare architectures. I spent a lot of time in it. I've recently gotten a lot of healthcare professionals, including a mental health tech recently hired as a cloud architect. So there are huge things there. But if your training did not teach you how to design a 20,000 remote location solution, if your training didn't teach you how to make a multi-cloud architecture, because all healthcare institutions are multi-cloud. If your training did not teach you how to build a business case, then you're going to need training. And most people whose cloud architecture training involve things like certifications in Python and all these other things, that's not architecture, that's engineering. So yes, there are huge numbers of jobs here. I held one for many years. I've coached many people. I routinely get offered distinguished architect roles at not only cloud providers, but other big tech companies because they want someone that knows healthcare and tech. And it's such a rare skill to find. So Fernando, this is a very good place for you to be, but make sure you learn architecture.
Yeah.
I'd like you to join us on Thursday for the free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar. And we'll tell you everything that you need to learn to be an architect, and either how to get them with us or on your own. But yeah, that's an incredible background. Plus, as a surgical tech, guess what? You have the advantage that you had to speak with people because you're part of a surgical team. And if you make a communication error and as part of a surgical team, people die. So your communication skills are going to be better. You can't be, overly nasty, although surgeons are a little more nasty than we primary care providers because people are sleeping. But if your emotional intelligence isn't there and your communication skills are not there, so you're probably advantaged just from that over the average person who comes from, say, tech like programming. And our healthcare people tend to do the best very quickly. So join us in the free webinar.
All right. So those were all our questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. So we're going to be wrapping it up. I want to remind everybody again, Mike just mentioned it a couple of times. We've got our webinar coming up on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to join us for that webinar to learn everything about becoming the ultimate cloud architect, what the cloud architect actually needs to know, how to deal with hiring managers and HR, what hiring managers actually want, all that good information. Make sure you join us for that at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. And also want to remind everybody about our current discount countdown that is going on, up to 60% off for a limited time with limited slots available. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Mike and Alonzo, thank you for joining me and taking the time to answer some questions. We look forward to seeing everybody. And make sure you join us tomorrow for our Head in the Clouds weekly episode on Tuesday, where we're going to be talking some more about ChatGPT. I'm sure Mike's got some demos he might be doing for us and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody have a good day. Have a great rest of your Monday.